In this video, I'm going to be talking about California's new Blueprint for a Safer Economy and what it means for Disneyland's reopening. Hey there, my name's Eric D, and on this channel my hope is always to make your next Disney adventure a little bit more magical with tips and tricks, food reviews, and news. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. But in this video we're going to be specifically talking about California's new Blueprint for a Safer Economy, and it's going to be kind of an up and down Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout emotions of what was going on in this news conference with the governor, Gavin Newsom, as he talked about how things are changing in California and also what that means for Disneyland. And leading up to this press conference, there was really some hope that we would finally get some information about when Disneyland would be reopening, because there have been some movement and rumblings at Disneyland itself with more plexiglass being added at the turnstiles for the first time in months. The train station, the gates were lit up at night, other areas of the park were lit up at night, and so that was something that hadn't been happening for a while. There were also comments from park leadership, like Josh D'Amaro, chairman of Disney Parks, who recently went on the Dow Report, and when asked about Disneyland said, "As soon as a date and those guidelines are set, I can tell you we're ready. Needless to say, we're eager to get this engine going again. I want to get cast members back to work as quickly as I can." He also talked about the positive impact Disney parks have on the local economy by saying, "It's not just all about Disney. We are an economic engine. We have an impact beyond the berms of our theme parks." And then he talked about how local Orlando businesses had benefited from Disney World's reopening. We also heard reports from Jim McPhee, Disney World's chief operating officer, who said Disneyland has been ready to roll since July. These statements made it into USA Today and many other national and local news sources, likely in hopes of putting some pressure on the decisions that were being made in California. Then, to add even more hope, Orange County had worked its way off the governor's monitoring list, which in theory meant Orange County would be able to start working towards reopening businesses again. But then the entirely new Blueprint for a Safer Economy was unveiled. It's a bit confusing, so if I say something wrong, I apologize. To start off, it didn't sound good for Disneyland because it was introduced by saying it was a statewide, stringent, and slow plan for living with COVID-19 for the long haul. The plan is described as follows. Based on recent data, each county will fall into one of four colored tiers: purple, widespread; red, substantial; orange, moderate; and yellow, minimal, based on how prevalent COVID-19 is in each county and the extent of community spread. It relies on two leading health metrics: number of cases per 100,000 residents and percentage of COVID-19 tests that come back positive." End quote. Previously, ICU and hospital usage played a much larger role in the equation for the monitoring list. Even though Orange County, where Disneyland is located, had made it off the watch list, and they currently have numbers that would qualify for the red tier, they are actually at the purple tier. In order to move into a less restrictive tier, a county must meet that tier's criteria for 2 straight weeks. And once you move up a level, you must remain in that tier for a minimum of 21 days before being eligible to move to the next tier. This is true for every tier except purple. And they make updates to the list every Tuesday, starting September 8th. So in theory, the first chance Orange County will have to move up to red is Tuesday, September 8th. But in all truth, that doesn't matter just yet, because currently, all tiers don't allow for theme parks to reopen. Guidelines have still not been defined. So remember originally when Disneyland was planning to reopen, and then they had to cancel because they said, "We haven't received the guidelines from the government." And the government said, "After July 4th, we'll give you those guidelines." Well, it's been after July 4th for a while, and we still don't have those guidelines. And so, because those guidelines were not even presented yesterday, one of the reporters asked that question, and they specifically called out, "We don't see anything in here about amusement parks or Disney in here, like when can Disneyland reopen?" So that reporter called it out, and how the governor answered it was by saying, "Specific to amusement park operators, we are working with them. It is a very dynamic conversation, and so we didn't include it in this update today. That is a separate conversation. It's an easy one to have, frankly, with some of the larger ones. We're trying to accommodate for some of the other amusement activities in the state, and so you'll be getting that as soon as we work through that. One of my afternoon meetings is in this space, and we're actively looking to see where we land on that. So of course we don't have an update yet, but after the press conference, supposedly the governor was having this meeting about theme parks, and I really think Disney and other theme parks could have really pressed at that time, saying, you know what, even at the purple level, aquariums and zoos with the outdoor areas can be open for bookshops, flower shops, malls. All of those places can be open indoors if they're modified or at 25% capacity. And moving past the purple tier onto the red tier, Disneyland could start to have dine-in restaurants as long as they keep it to 25% capacity or less than 100 people, whichever number is less. I really think there is opportunities for theme parks and amusement parks to be open at this point, but they just haven't given those guidelines yet. And so it will be interesting to see what comes out of those meetings. So I'm really hoping at some point soon we do hear from the governor what these guidelines will be for theme parks, not just because, oh, poor Eric wants to go to Disneyland, which is true, but because there are a lot of cast members who do not have full-time work at this point. And when you think about the other amusement parks in the area, there are a lot of employees that don't have full-time work. And I feel like if these parks and theme parks can do it in a safe way at a reduced capacity, they should definitely have the opportunity to do that. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please give a like. And hopefully I'll have another video like this very soon where we actually have the guidelines. In the comments below, I would love to hear when you think we'll get the guidelines and also when you think the park will open. And do you even think it's going to happen in 2020 at this point? I still always have to be optimistic. I think it has to be coming soon just by some of the things we're seeing, but it's hard to tell after this long. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all again real soon. Bye.